The fluorescent lights buzzed like angry hornets in the locker room, casting jagged shadows that clawed at Alex Harper's skin. He was 17, all gangly limbs and unspoken secrets, pressed against the cold metal as the pack of juniors closed in. Their laughter a venomous hiss that drowned out the distant slam of the gymnasium doors. "Freak," one snarled, shoving him hard enough to rattle his teeth, while another spat the word "faggot" like it was gospel truth, igniting a fire in Alex's chest that burned hotter than the fear twisting his gut. He knew this moment would either break him or forge something unbreakable. Alex's heart hammered against his ribs, each beat a desperate plea for escape. But his feet stayed rooted, sneakers squeaking faintly on the tile. The air reeked of sweat and cheap body spray, a toxic cocktail that choked him as much as their words. He'd hidden it for years, the way his gaze lingered too long on the curve of a teammate's jaw during practice. The flutter in his stomach when Coach Ramirez clapped his shoulder with that easy warmth no one else got. But today, in the haze of post-game adrenaline, Tommy Ellis had seen it, Alex stealing a glance at the new transfer, Javier Morales, whose laugh echoed like sunlight breaking through clouds. One whisper, and the dam burst. "You think you're slick." "Harper," Tommy loomed closer, his breath hot and sour, fist cocked like a loaded gun. The others egg him on, a chorus of jeers that blurred into white noise. But Alex's mind sharpened to a razor's edge. He thought of his mom, alone in their cramped apartment on Elm Street, folding laundry with hands cracked from double shifts at the diner. How she'd cry if she knew. Or worse, if she didn't. No, he wouldn't crumble. Not here. With a surge that surprised even him, Alex shoved back, his voice cracking but steady. "Touch me again, and you'll regret it." The room froze, the bully's eyes widening in shock. And in that split-second silence, Javier's voice cut through from the doorway like a lifeline. "Back off. Assholes. He's not worth your time." Javier Morales was 18, fresh from the barrios of Chicago, transplanted to this sleepy Indiana town, where cornfields stretched like judgmental fingers toward the horizon. He wasn't built like the football jocks, lean and wiry from years of soccer on cracked pavement, but there was a quiet fire in him, the kind that simmered under his olive skin and sparked in his dark eyes. He'd noticed Alex weeks ago, during homeroom when their teacher droned on about quadratic equations. Alex's pencil sketching absent swirls that looked suspiciously like hearts. Javier had smiled then, a small curve of lips that Alex had dismissed as pity. But now, bursting into the locker room with his gym bag slung over one shoulder, Javier's presence shifted the air, turning venom to uncertainty. The bullies scattered like roaches under light, muttering curses as they grabbed their towels and slunk away. Tommy shot Alex a glare that promised payback, but Javier blocked it with his body, casual as if he were just tying his shoe. "You okay?" he asked, voice low and laced with that faint Chicago lilt, extending a hand that Alex stared at like it might vanish. Up close, Javier smelled like cedar and rain, a stark contrast to the locker room's stale funk. Alex nodded, throat too tight for words, and let Javier pull him up, their palms brushing in a spark that jolted straight to his core. It was the first touch that didn't feel like violence. And in the echo of retreating footsteps, Alex wondered if survival could taste this sweet. They didn't talk much on the walk out, the late September sun dipping low and painting the parking lot in bruised purples. Alex's beat-up Ford Focus waited like a faithful dog. Its bumper dented from that fender bender last winter, his mom still blamed on teenage distractions. Javier leaned against the hood, fiddling with the strap of his bag. His faded band, T, some indie group Alex had never heard of, clinging slightly from the humidity. "Those guys are idiots," Javier said finally, kicking a loose pebble. "Don't let them get in your head." Alex slid into the driver's seat, gripping the wheel to steady his shaking hands. "Easy for you to say. You're, you know, out and proud, or whatever." The words tumbled out bitter, laced with envy he hadn't meant to voice. Javier laughed, a sound like gravel under tires, warm despite the edge. "Out? Man, I'm barely unpacked. My family's Catholic as hell. Dad's a mechanic. Mom's got the rosary on speed dial. But hiding? That's no life." He paused, eyes searching Alex's face through the open window, and something unspoken passed between them, heavy as the gathering dusk. "Hey, there's this coffee shop downtown. Brew Haven. Part-time gig for me. Swing by tomorrow after school? No pressure." Alex's pulse raced again, but this time was thrill, not terror. He mumbled a maybe, but as Javier waved and jogged toward his bike chained by the bleachers, Alex knew it was a yes. Driving home through the winding back roads, past silos standing sentinel in the fields, he replayed the moment, the shove, the stand, the hand. For the first time, the weight on his chest felt like it might lift. That night, sleep evaded Alex like a shadow in moonlight. He lay on his twin bed, posters of classic rock bands peeling at the edges, staring at the glow-in-the-dark stars his dad had stuck up before bailing when Alex was 6. The apartment was quiet, save for the hum of the fridge and the occasional creak of floorboards as his mom padded to the bathroom. He'd told her bits and pieces over dinner, burnt spaghetti from the box, omitting the slurs, framing it as just roughhousing. She ruffled his hair, her calloused fingers gentle, and said, "You're tougher than you think, kiddo." Always have been, but as the clock ticked past midnight, doubt crept in. What if Javier was just being nice? What if tomorrow brought more fists, more whispers in the halls? By dawn, resolve hardened in him like frost on the window pane. He'd go to that coffee shop, face whatever came, because hiding had carved hollows under his eyes deep enough to drown in. School the next day dragged like molasses. Whispers trailed Alex through the corridors, eyes darting like darts. But no one touched him. Javier's intervention had bought a fragile truce. In English Lit, Mrs. Hargrove dissected The Great Gatsby, drawling about lost dreams and green lights across bays. And Alex's mind wandered to Javier's eyes, that hazel depth promising uncharted waters. Lunch was a minefield. He sat alone at the edge of the cafeteria, poking at mystery meat, when Javier dropped into the seat across from him, tray clattering. "Figured you'd chicken out on coffee," Javier teased, stealing a fry with a grin that lit the fluorescent gloom. Alex flushed, mumbling about homework, but Javier waved it off. "Liar. Meet me at 4. Brew Haven nestled on Main Street. A hole in the wall with mismatched chairs and the rich aroma of roasted beans spilling onto the sidewalk. Javier worked the counter in a crisp black apron over his usual jeans and tee, sleeves rolled to reveal forearms corded from hauling crates. Alex hovered in the doorway, heart thudding, until Javier spotted him and beckoned with a nod. "What'll it be, stranger? First one's on me." They talked, or Javier did, spinning tales of Chicago street festivals and his abuela's tamales that could melt your soul, while Alex sipped black coffee, bitter as his secrets, but warming all the same. Hours slipped by unnoticed, the shop emptying as rain pattered against the windows. When Javier's shift ended, he shrugged off the apron, revealing the simple silver chain around his neck, a cross glinting faintly. "Walk with me," he asked, and Alex, legs jelly, followed into the downpour. The rain slicked the streets, turning the town into a watercolor blur of neon signs and puddles reflecting brake lights. They ducked under the awning of the old theater, its marquee advertising a rom-com Alex would never see alone. Javier shook water from his hair, droplets catching the light like diamonds, and turned to Alex with an intensity that stole his breath. "Look, about yesterday. I didn't just butt in 'cause it's right. It's you." The words hung, vulnerable, and Alex's world tilted. Before he could stammer a response, Javier leaned in, lips brushing his in a kiss soft as fog, tasting of espresso and courage. It lasted seconds, eternities, and when they parted, Alex's cheeks burned, but not from shame, from alive, electric joy. From that stolen moment, their worlds intertwined like vines claiming a crumbling wall. Stolen glances in the halls became coded smiles. Notes passed in trig class with doodles of soccer balls and guitars. Javier taught Alex to kick a ball properly on the field after dark, their laughter echoing under the floodlights, bodies brushing in the thrill of motion. Alex, in turn, shared mixtapes burned on his ancient laptop, Springsteen anthems about born-to-run hearts that mirrored their own. But paradise was fragile. Tommy and his crew simmered, their glares sharpening like knives on whetstones. One Friday, as Alex waited by his car, a shadow fell Tommy, flanked, shoving him against the door with a snarl. "Think Morales makes you untouchable? You're still the same queer trash." The punch landed square on Alex's jaw, stars exploding behind his eyes, blood metallic on his tongue. He swung wild, connecting with air, until Javier barreled in like a storm, tackling Tommy to the asphalt. Fists flew, grunts and curses filling the air, until teachers swarmed, pulling them apart in a tangle of limbs and shouts. Bruised and bleeding, Alex and Javier sat side by side in the principal's office, ice packs pressed to swelling skin, while parents were called. Javier's dad arrived first, broad-shouldered and grease-stained, eyes narrowing at the sight of his son. Alex's mom came last, her diner uniform rumpled, face paling at the gash above Alex's eye. In the tense hush, confessions spilled. Alex, voice trembling, admitted it all, the bullying, the kiss, the fear. His mom enveloped him in a hug that smelled of fries and fierce love, whispering, "My boy, you're brave. Braver than me." The fallout was swift, a whirlwind of suspensions and meetings. Tommy got 3 weeks, a mark on his record that stuck like tar, while Alex and Javier drew warnings, but freedom, too. Walking home that night, arm in arm under street lamps, flickering like hesitant stars, Javier squeezed Alex's hand. "Worth it," he murmured, and Alex believed him. Weeks blurred into a tentative rhythm, school a battlefield they navigated together. Evenings at Brewhaven, where Javier's tips bought them slushies from the corner store. Nights texting until batteries died, words tumbling like confessions in the dark. Alex's mom, after initial shock, became an ally, stocking the fridge with Javier's favorite sodas and sharing stories of her own wild youth. "Love's love. Mi hijo," she told Javier one dinner, her Spanish halting but sincere, drawing a surprised grin from him. Yet shadows lingered. Whispers evolved into graffiti on Alex's locker, "Die. Fag," erased by custodians but etched in his mind. Javier's family fractured. His dad, devout and unyielding, forbade the friendship, citing scripture like bullets. Javier rebelled quietly, sneaking out to meet Alex by the river, where willows wept into the current and they lay on blankets, tracing constellations with fingers intertwined. "I want more than this," Javier confessed one night, head on Alex's chest, heartbeat sinking like a lullaby. College, a city where we don't hide. Alex, dreaming of art school portfolios filled with sketches of Javier's profile, nodded into the darkness. "We'll get there." Together, winter clamped down, snow blanketing the town in hush. But tension brewed like a storm front. Prom loomed, a glittering trap baited with normalcy Alex craved yet dreaded. "Go with me," Javier asked over cocoa at the shop, steam curling like question marks. Alex's stomach flipped. Yes meant exposure. No meant loss. He chose yes, heart pounding as they rented tuxes. Javier's midnight blue hugging his frame like a promise. The night arrived crisp and star-strewn. Alex's mom snapping photos with tears in her eyes. Her simple dress from the diner's holiday party swapped for a borrowed gown. At the gym, transformed with streamers and strobes. Heads turned as they entered hand in hand. Javier's confidence a shield Alex leaned on. The dance floor pulsed, but malice lurked in corners. Tommy, back from suspension with a sneer, cornered them by the punch bowl. "Pathetic show. Boys, enjoy your little fairy tale. It ends soon." His cronies laughed, but Javier stepped forward. Voice steel, jealous. "Cause from here. It looks like you're the one dancing alone." The DJ cranked Born This Way, and against the roar, Alex pulled Javier close, their sway a defiant waltz. Hours later, under the bleachers slick with melt, they kissed fierce and forgetting, the world narrowing to breath and belonging. But as confetti rained, a shove from behind sent Alex sprawling. Tommy again, drunk on stolen flask, fist raised for more. Javier lunged, but Alex surged up first, tackling Tommy into the shadows. The fight a blur of rage and release. Punches landed, blood sprayed, until security hauled them apart, the night shattering like glass. In the aftermath, expelled breaths in the cold, Alex realized this was the breaking point, the forge. Charges loomed, but community rallied, teachers who'd seen too much, parents weary of silence. A town hall convened, voices rising for change. And in the eye, Alex spoke, microphone trembling. "I'm gay. And I'm done hiding. Bullying doesn't define me, it frees me." Applause thundered. Javier's hand in his an anchor, and for the first time, hope felt like home. Spring thawed the fields, greening them with promise, as Alex and Javier plotted escape. Graduation caps sailed like white birds. Diplomas clutched like tickets out. Alex's portfolio, bolstered by late-night sketches capturing Javier's essence. Eyes like autumn embers. Smile a revolution. Earned him a scholarship to Pratt in Brooklyn. Dreams of graphic design blooming vivid. Javier, accepted to Columbia's engineering program on grit and grants. Packed his duffel with Abuela's blessings whispered over phone lines. Their last night in town, atop Harper's Hill, overlooking the twinkling grid of lights. They made love under a blanket of stars. Bodies a map of futures intertwined. Whispers of "I love you," sealing vows against the wind. New York swallowed them whole. A cacophony of horns and humanity where holding hands drew smiles, not stares. Alex's dorm room became a studio. Canvases alive with stories of resilience. Javier's lab echoed with blueprints for sustainable cities. His calloused hands now tracing circuits in Alex's spine with equal care. Weekends wandered Central Park. Picnics of street falafel and dreams shared over sketch pads. But echoes of Indiana lingered. Letters from Alex's mom. Proud clippings of the town pride flag raised post-scandal. Calls from Javier's dad. Thawing with gruff, "How's the weather?" that masked mending fences. Years layered like sediment. Alex's first gallery show. Panels bold with queer narratives. Javier beside him in a tailored suit. Eyes shining pride. Javier's startup launch. Green tech revolutionizing rural grids. Alex designing the logo, a phoenix rising from cornstalks. They bought a brownstone in Brooklyn. Walls hung with their history. That first kiss sketched in charcoal. Prom tuxes framed whimsically. On their 5th anniversary, atop the Empire State, city sprawled like a conquered fear. Javier knelt with a ring simple as their chain, silver, etched with unstoppable. "Marry me?" he asked, voice husky with memory. Alex, tears salting the wind, breathed yes. The future no bully could chain now, theirs to claim. Decades wove richer tapestries. Alex's books, graphic memoirs of love's defiance, topped charts, speaking to generations hidden no more. Javier's company lit forgotten towns, a quiet payback to shadows past. They mentored, advocated, their home a haven for runaways with eyes like young Alex's, fearful, fierce. Grandkids came late, adopted from the system's edges, calling them Papa and Dad, filling holidays with chaos and cake. On a porch swing in their upstate retreat, rocking as fireflies danced, Alex leaned into Javier's shoulder, silver threading their hair. "We made it," he murmured, hand over heart. Javier kissed his temple. "Eternal. We always would have."